So today's video is going to be a very serious, in-depth review and critique of a couple of images I've taken recently in Namibia. Isn't that right, Monty? But first, we would like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And yeah, this is pretty much... No, Monty, don't jump off the table. Come on, sit. Good boy, sit for the camera. Ah, yes, we would like to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And yeah, we should all be excited for our photography escapades and adventures that are to come for 2018. Right, so I'm going to jump straight into the images. All right, come on, Monty, let's go. Okay, focus. Are we in focus? We should be in focus. All right, good stuff. Now, Monty has gone, and we can get down to business and talk about a couple of images taken recently in Namibia. I'm going to go over some processing, and I'm going to talk about some general image critiquing philosophy when it comes to looking and assessing your own work. Before I forget as well, I'd like to thank Squarespace for sponsoring this content. If you need a website, go to squarespace.com/Heaton. Now, this image here, which I photographed in Namibia, you can watch the video where I took this image here. Now, I love this photograph. It's possibly one of my favourites that I've taken of all time, which is a bold statement, but it's a statement I make quite a lot and then I often change my mind. So far, I'm sticking with it. It's got pretty much everything I look for in my landscape photography. It's got good composition and it's simple and it's clean. And I really do like this image. So what I often say is that when you have good composition, good light and a good subject, then that's nature doing Photoshop for you. So you don't need to massively edit and process your images if you get those three things nailed down. And this image is a fine example of that. So this is the edited, or it's not final. My images are never final, but this is the a semi-final version of this photograph. And now if we look at the raw file, you can see there is not a great deal of difference. It's flat, as any raw file should be, and that's pretty much it. And I haven't done a great deal, I haven't had to do a great deal because we had such gorgeous conditions and a great subject. So I will go through the editing that I've done to bring it from this to this. So here's the raw file that I showed you before. Now, what I like to do when opening a raw file and when starting the edit is take myself back to the location and the time when I took the photograph and try and remember how I felt when I was there and what I visualized when it came to taking the image. And I look at the raw file and I ask myself what I like about it, what I want to retain and how I want the final image to look. And the first thing that jumps out to me with this image is the lovely soft palette of colors and those lovely soft shadows as well. So that's pretty much what I want to retain. I want a clean, soft, minimalist image. That's what I'm going for. So I am not going to punch anybody in the face with this edit at all. I'm going to keep it as subtle as I can. So I am going to start with exposure because it is a tad underexposed. So I'm going to bring this up by half a stop. I usually like to set my white point and black point, which is naturally going to add contrast. I want to retain how soft and gentle this image is. So I'm going to set my whites to about there. This is just giving me a lovely image, far more bright image. Now we're going to move on to the blacks. This is where we're going to start to see some contrast introduced. So if I bring the blacks down, I can hold down Alt and see my black point, which is here. You can see that there in the bottom left, but that's going to be too strong. So if I just, let's see, there we go. Now it does have more contrast. I actually want to increase the contrast further. So I'm just going to use the contrast slider, very straightforward. And I just use my eye for this. Let's say somewhere around about the 50 mark. If I show you the before and after, before on the left, that's the unedited raw file. After on the right, we can see it's starting to pop a bit more now. So what I'm going to do next is just adjust the vibrance and the saturation. Sometimes I use both of these sliders, and on this image I will use both of these sliders. The vibrancy is more intelligent than saturation. It only targets muted colors, whereas saturation targets everything. So I'm gonna start off with the vibrance and I don't want to go mad with this, you know. I just want to add a bit of life to the image. There we go, that's looking a lot better. Let's look at the before and after. Yes, perfect. Now, if I actually introduce a touch of saturation as well, because the vibrance has only targeted some of the tones in the image and not everything, or some of the colors in the image, saturation is now going to add a layer on top of everything. So I'm just a hair's breadth of saturation. I really don't want to go mad with this. Okay, there we go. Now I'm looking at this image and to me it looks a little bit warm. I much prefer the cooler tones. So I'm just going to reduce the temperature ever so slightly. There we go. Okay, so that's better. I've just dropped the temperature ever so slightly. One thing I didn't do, which I should have done, but I didn't, but I'm going to now, is just to enable profile corrections. So one thing I love about this image is this area here. You can see the sand blowing down the dune there. And I want to actually draw attention to that and increase it. So I'm going to use my local brush and I'm just going to introduce some clarity. I don't want to add clarity to the entire image. I really don't think it's necessary. But I would love just a touch of clarity on that dune to really bring out this sand here. And that's pretty much more or less the final image. So I'm very happy to have come away with this image because the conditions were so brutal with the wind, and it wasn't so much the wind, but it was the sand being whipped up by the wind. That was the challenge. You think rain and wind is bad. Let me tell you, it's nothing compared to sand and wind. So I mentioned that this image, although I've edited it, it's probably not finished. And the truth is, I don't know when it will be finished. I have to live with an image for quite a long time to be able to finally say that we're done. You know, we could delete the raw file, which I'd never do, ever. And I don't advocate deleting raw files, but we could. When I get to that stage, I don't know. It will probably be in a few weeks once I've done several test prints and I've actually hung the print on the wall and lived with it for a few days and gone over the image on the monitor time and time again. And to be honest, the tweaks will be very minor, probably adjust the crop and maybe contrast. I don't know, not much. Okay, moving on to a second image. This is a photograph I took in Deadvlei. You can watch the video here. Now, what I would say about this location is it's an amazing location. It's breathtaking, it's gorgeous, it's chaotic, it's difficult to work in. And we actually decided after this shoot, we decided that we weren't going to return to Deadvlei. And for good reason. I think I really struggled to find anything that felt unique, that felt original. Every time I pressed the shutter and every time I took an image, I felt I'd seen that image before, including this one. And you know, partly I'm sure I'm perhaps being a bit too harsh on myself, I don't know. But we simply didn't have enough time in Deadvlei to be able to work it properly. I think you'd need like at least 4 or 5 days just here, just in Deadvlei, to make any kind of original image or any kind of image that feels original. So I took more than just this image. I took some image for the client who actually sent us there. But this is the image that I shared with you guys. And all of the images that I took, I just felt I'd seen them before. And that is essentially because you're shooting dead trees on white sand with a red background. And that's it. No matter the shape of the tree, how many trees, the shape of the red dune, no matter which way you put those ingredients together, you're still coming away with an image from Deadvlei. And that's the issue I had. So I was really torn. I loved the location. I thought it was fascinating. But from a photography standpoint, it left me feeling empty. You know, which is a shame. That's probably just me. I don't know. But I just felt, here's another image from Deadvlei. Big deal, seen it 100 times, and there's nothing new here. Now, if there was a lovely low-hanging mist or fog in there, that would be amazing, but you have to spend years there probably to get any kind of conditions like that. So yeah, we didn't return, and that is because there was so much more to explore around Deadvlei, which you'll see in the videos that are coming out over the next week or so. That's pretty much it. I wanted to just give you an insight into how I feel about my own images. The first image of the dunes to me feels like it feels like I earned the image. You know, it was hard work, it feels original, and I'm really, really happy with the image. This image technically is fine and it's a striking image, but I don't feel like I really earned the image. I feel like it just felt too, I don't know, it wasn't easy because it was difficult to find the compositions, but it's just another tree on a red dune. It's been just, I don't know, being very negative, and I try not to be negative, but I have to be honest and tell you how I feel, and that's how I feel about Deadvlei, and that is why after this image and the video that was up last Wednesday, Tuesday, Sunday, whenever it was up, that's the last time that we visited Deadvlei. But I would recommend that you go there, but just don't, maybe visit it once or twice, but honestly, what you need to do is explore the surrounding dunes of Deadvlei. So yeah, very cool. Right, I'm gonna go. I hope you've taken something away from this video. It's a bit of a ramble, I know, but I wanted to wish Merry Christmas to everyone, and I really wanted to talk through a couple of my images, and I wanted to explain how I felt about Deadvlei. So hopefully I've done that. So thank you so much for watching. I'd also like to thank Squarespace for their continued support of my channel. They're a massive help, so thank you so much. If you need a website, go to squarespace.com/Heaton, and if it works really well for you and you want to give Squarespace your very, very hard-earned money, then use the offer code Heaton for 10% off your first purchase. Right, get out, shoot images over Christmas, don't eat too much turkey, and just, have a nice relaxing few days. And I'll see you next time. All right, bye for now.